Hello to all my friends out there. I hope everyone is doing okay. This video is, well, what are we prepping for? Exactly. Well, we're prepping for disasters. Yeah, that's true, but exactly what disasters? What does that mean? Well, the Bible describes 4 hideous horsemen. That would be famine, war, pestilence, and diseases or plagues. All through time, these are the major disasters that could happen. So this is what we want to prep for. I've been studying the law of abundance, and I can see why a lot of the Christians go, "Oh, that's not gonna help you when things get really, really bad." What you're going to have to do is prepare prior to these events, if possible. It's going to give you a better chance of survival. So let's just examine Wuhan, China. Okay, the people are quarantined in a big, huge city. What should be happening by now is they should be running out of food. They should be running all kinds of out of resources. They shouldn't be able to pay their rent. They shouldn't be able to get to work. Maybe they don't have a job. And so then if you keep playing it out in your mind, what I thought I saw, and this would be super bad, is big auditoriums with cots. So what would be in these big auditoriums with cots? Thousands of people. And what about these people? Some of them could have the coronavirus. Probably the only thing worse would be if you were incarcerated, like in prison, during one of these outbreaks. So this is what you want to, when you're thinking about disease, this is what you want to play it out in your mind. What if you run out of food? What if you run out of gas? What if you don't have a vehicle because you can't make your car payment? What if you don't have a home to live in because you can't pay your rent, because you can't go to work, because you don't have enough money, because you don't have enough food? So this is the problem. Plagues are not good. So you want to prepare for not just like a pneumonia type plague, but it could be any kind of plagues. It could be any kind of disease. You want to make provisions to protect yourself against disease. And so one prevention would be you want to watch the people that are around you. Where would these diseases be likely to happen? Well, the poorest people or the people that are already sick, say street people, poverty-stricken people, elderly people, people with immune diseases, which could be a lot of people, are going to pick up these diseases. So you want to, as much as you can, you want to watch which people you are around so you don't pick up disease. Some of it's catching, some of it you get it on your hands and you can pick it up yourself. A balanced diet is going to protect you. So then I don't have any money, I can't get to work, I don't, not good food. That is not going to help. Filthy living conditions, filthy environments. Out here, I'd be very, very terrified to dumpster dive right now, because God knows what filth is in those dumpsters. You got to be very careful not to pick up any of these things. So another thing would be sewage. We had cases of hepatitis C, and they said it was because the street people were going to the bathroom in a river, and then I guess they were maybe taking a bath or maybe drinking. I can't imagine that. But anyway, so the running sewage. So now what we want to do is And these are the things that they're running out of in Wuhan is bleach, alcohol, 91%, antibacterial hand soap. Remember when they told us, oh, this is really going to suppress your immunity? No, load up on antibacterial hand soap, dish soap, and laundry soap. Okay, clean clothes and bedding. So you want to, keep your bed clean. And one of the best ways to do that is make sure you're clean before you get in your bed. So, always want to be, this is one thing I like, you guys should check out TJ Preps. And she's doing a lot of prepping, on disease prevention. Okay, so now, war. Okay, when we're in a war and we send our army to the war, we know who our enemies are. But there's possibility that there's more subtle enemies that we have to worry about. I mean, not staying up nights, but it might not be so smart to be going down to Mexico unless you have a really good reason to be down there. For one thing, if you're murdered, no one's going to get terribly upset. So you want to avoid places where there's random violence. You just don't want to travel to China. That ain't smart. And as far as enemies go, you have to remember that other people can be breached. So there's been stories about ministers that have been breached and have betrayed their congregation. So I wouldn't trust anybody 100% other than maybe your own family. Okay, so, and to be aware that, the wolf wearing a sheep's clothing, so you always want to be aware of enemies, all kinds of enemies. Okay, pestilence, rats. Rats are really bad, and another thing about rats harbor fleas and lice. Fleas and lice are really bad. Mosquitoes are really bad. Flies, and we've had huge swarms of locusts. Mostly, really bad flies are going to hover around death and filth. So the cleaner you are, the safer you are for pestilence. Like me, I don't keep any food out. Nothing. And I don't have insect. Even my spices are in baggies. I don't leave anything that's going to possibly attract an insect. And I have those little boxes all over the house so that if a fly does get in here or a crawling insect, it will be trapped. You want to avoid insects. They're very filthy. And usually that can be done, you want to control your dirty clothes, your trash. I mean, a lot of things could be prevented just by taking your garbage out every night. And another thing, putting all your garbage in a container, the proper container. That's going to save you a lot. And, if you don't do your dishes, rinse all the food off of them. Don't leave snacks. So, okay, so now, so let's see, famine. Okay, famine is very, very dangerous. Now, in Wuhan, what I would expect, I'm thinking about those cots. Oh my gosh. Let's see, you can't get to your job. So you can't earn money to pay your bills. So you can't pay your rent. You can't have a vehicle because you can't make a car payment and you can't buy gas. You don't have enough food, and it just goes on and on and on. And then eventually you end up in like a FEMA camp type thing. You need food, water, and you need heat. I never really gave much thought to heat, but if like all you could afford was your rent, you would have to find a way to dwell in your apartment without heat. So you would want like a buddy heater and a camp stove. You'd want propanes, and you want to stockpile propane. I'm weak on that one too. I have a gasoline camp stove, but you know, since I'm unschooled. Okay, recently I have changed my stockpiling to probably a majority of cans because I don't want anything happening to my food. I don't want my food contaminated. I want to be able to grab this box of food and I want to make haste out of here if needs be. And so what I do is I try to stockpile food that I eat all the time in these small boxes. And believe it or not, this box of food, this little box, is quite a bit of food. I have some peas, I have some corn, I have some sweet potatoes, I have some soup, I have some beans, I have some milk, and I have some mixed vegetables. And I have been making stuff out of this stuff this week. You know, when they cut my Social Security by $125, I had food. I had tea. I have, you know, I've been at this for a long time. You can buy dented cans, and that is really going to help you. So you want to put it in. And the reason I went to cans, one of the ladies that I follow, KY Rambling Granny, and thank you if you're out there, showed us her stockpile of food, and it was all canned food. And I said, you know, that is the way I'm going. I don't want any problems. If I got to make haste out of here, I want to be able to pile all this stuff in the back of my truck and drive out of here. Okay, transportation, if you possibly can, put it into the back of your mind, could I live in my vehicle? I spent months doing videos on car dwelling. You know, you might have to temporarily live in your car. And I have a much better idea. I see people living in their cars all the time, and I think, wow, you know, you really should research that out. And then the last thing is cash and a weapon, but we'll get into that. But you want to stockpile a little cash if you can. Jam from New York City saves money if you're new is good. One of my followers said she saves 10%. But anyway, you can manage to save out a little money is really going to help you. I have a woman who follows me, and her name is Little Squirrel. And she says what she does is she saves a small portion of her food, and then she doesn't even miss it. I go, yeah, that's a very good idea. So by being super thrifty, anything you can think of to do, maybe you don't have any extra money, but what you want to do is live the highest standard of living you possibly can, because that is going to protect you if disease ravages us. And then a weapon. Okay, so now back to our enemies. If we don't have a weapon, how are we supposed to protect ourselves against our enemies? Hand-to-hand combat. Another thing is you want your ability to hide your food if needs be, and that will be a lot easier to do if you have cans that are unbreakable. Another thing is most of the time the cans will last maybe a year or longer after they expire, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for cans, if I pay full price, with the longest possible expiration date I can. And then another thing I wanted to say, and then I'm done, is about when things happen, adjust as fast as you can. Say, okay, I am going to adjust to this situation as fast as I can. Okay, like say at the first signs of the disease, what would the early adjustments be as opposed to the later adjustments? Well, the later adjustments, now you're just trying to survive. Maybe at the beginning, the adjustment would have been entirely different. So the thing you want to do when you're prepping is you want to prep for famine, war, pestilence, plagues, and diseases. And keep that into the back of your mind all the time. I also have, if I can find it, okay. These are some cheap meats. Chicken, fish sticks. I buy chicken on sale. Turkey burger is cheaper than hamburger. Sausage, pork, bacon. And then I use dairy a lot in place of meat. Eggs, cheese, milk, yogurt, and then chorizo is really, really cheap too. And then I have some really cheap meals. Bean burritos, fish sticks, grilled cheese, turkey meatballs. I had bacon and eggs. Hash and eggs, soup and sandwich, sausage and biscuits. I'm not saying eat that all the time. I'm just saying consider these meals once in a while, like twice a month. So if you ever had to eat them, you'd have a better chance of surviving on them. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.